Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is caitom and today I am building a base game mid-century house. This means that you'll be able to download it straight off the gallery. My ID is caitom, C-A-I-T-O-M, if you actually want to download it and play in it. Yeah, so as you can see, I got the exterior pretty fast. Well, the shape of it. And that's actually because this is my second time building this. The first try, I knew what I wanted to build and I had a reference picture, but something just wasn't right with it, so I scrapped it and started building this one. So about this home, it is built on a 30 by 30 lot in Brindleton Bay, which is the world that came with cats and dogs, but don't worry, it is still base game because there is a 30 by 30 lot in Newcrest. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just messing with the windows. I mean, at first glance, you can tell this house already has like a dark color scheme, considering the paneling or like the wood that I use for the exterior. It's not usually a wood I would use for a house, but I thought it fit this one. So yeah, and I have black windows, black doors. Right now I'm just scrolling through debug, trying to see what kind of landscaping would fit. I didn't know if I wanted to have it match the actual like trees that were like around this lot. Actually don't remember what I decided on. And okay, well, I haven't given up on the trees yet. I do eventually, and start looking through the catalog for these bushes. These are debug bushes that have, I mean, a darker shade of green that you don't usually, well, you don't actually see in the debug plants. It's usually a lot brighter. But I opt for these dark green ones because I think it fits the nice dark color scheme that we have with the house. Yeah, so I'm back in debug looking at these fences. I knew I wanted something to kind of encapsulate the front of the lot, but I didn't want to use any of the actual fences that came with the base game, so I go for debug. Debug actually helps a lot when you're getting kind of sick and tired of all that base game has to offer, cause you know, you can cycle through them. But of course debug is here to rescue. Those pink flowers actually aren't debug, those are actual flowers. I thought a touch of pink would look nice. Nothing too bright, nothing too contrasty. And you know, a nice pink is still, I think, a warmer color than, I don't know, blue. Or like the hydrangea flowers that you see in the base game plants. Right now, you see me add like a little car spot, or like a little overhead for a garage. I thought it would add something a little bit more interesting on this side of the build, considering I didn't want the whole lot with the backyard fence to be very narrow. Because this is a 30 by 30, which means it's not a narrow lot, it is a square. Yeah, you see me here scrolling again through the debug. I think I was looking for an orange car to match like the warm brown, but I didn't want a truck because I don't imagine trucks to be owned by people who live in a mid-century home. So I think after I get tired of scrolling, I just opt for that black car that you already see. I don't know what kind of car that is because I don't know cars, but I feel like it's something that would be seen in the mid-century. Not that I was alive. I'm mostly basing this off of The Incredibles and their house and their little flashbacks. But you know, that's enough trailing off. Right now, I'm finishing up the windows and starting to move on to the floor plan. It was not that tricky actually. I knew I had enough room for the living space if I just followed the lines of the previous boxes I had made. So I had room for a living room, a dining room, and a kitchen. Except the kitchen and the dining room are on the same, or are in the same room. There's not really much separation between it. I was gonna add those counters, but then I realized that there wouldn't be enough room for a dining table, and I needed a big one and not the one tile dining tables, because 2 parents, 1 teen, and 2 children are actually the family that I imagined would live in this house. A little about the family that I imagined lives here. The parents are actually a duo of very successful, I want to say like landscapers, and they have a quaint little hobby of gardening when they're back at home with their kids. So you don't see much of it right now, but once I get to the backyard, you'll see some planter boxes. And I realized that's kind of all I put. I mean, there's some gardening tools around the planter boxes, and I believe some indoor planter that can also up your gardening skill that I place inside the parents' bedroom, but you'll see that later. Right now, I'm working on the kitchen. So these cabinets, these are always the cabinets that I think of whenever I think of base game mid-century. Like anything that isn't traditional. Oh, and right here, you just saw me humor the idea of a mirror as a backsplash. I didn't like it, so I got rid of it. And I think I just go for like a regular tile backsplash. This reminds me, I think I'll have to play test this kitchen. No, I don't. I actually leave the counter below the kitchen knives empty, which means that your sim will actually have space to cook. So right now I'm just working on the dining table. It's fairly simple. I mean, with base game, I don't usually clutter too much, at least when it comes to the living spaces. I mean, I don't know what kind of clutter I would put here, considering that there's not really much surface space, and the paintings that we have, I don't think it fits this interior style. I think I do add like 1 painting and call it a day besides that plant. Yep, and there it is. Plants are quite essential when it comes to decorating interiors, especially when it comes to base game. I think they just fill up corners really nicely. And I think I only fill up that 1 corner. I mean, I think that's enough. Now you see me going through the wallpaper. Well, you did see me go through the wallpaper. And now working on the living room. I knew for the living room I wanted to use one of those big expensive rugs. But these couches, I don't really know if they fit as well as I think they do. I knew I wanted to have a green couch, and I couldn't go for a dark brown rug because I already did for the dining, and that would just be a repeat, and I usually avoid repeating. So I use that large expensive TV with, those are actually cabinets. Yes, cabinets in the 1 tile swatch. I mean, it's not a swatch. you'll know what I mean. You saw me, the pop-up came up. And oh, and right here I'm just adding clutter, some books, a plane, because I do think one of the parents had a previous dream of not driving. You don't drive an airplane. Piloting an airplane. But maybe it just wasn't in a reality for them. So right now I'm back to the front of the build. I had a little mirror and some shoes and a coat rack just right outside the door, kind of make it seem more like an entry, and also just to fill up that space. And I've now started working on the parents' room. Compared to the kids' room, I do know that it is quite sparsely decorated. Besides the mirrors on the walls and like a couple paintings on the wall with the door, there's really not much to it. I do try and consider putting something similar to a wardrobe in this room, but with the way that I have the bed and the way that I include a desk, it is not possible. Also, my favorite color, well, favorite in the sense that the color I usually end up having in my builds, gray. So this bed has a gray bed frame and blue sheets. Although I do try and tie in more of the yellow on the bed sheets with the rug that I'm using. And I guess the wall kind of ties it into. I wouldn't want blue walls because I think there would be too much blue. So I think this is like a nice balance. Oh yeah, this is the plant that I'm talking about that I mentioned earlier. Actually helps your sim work on their gardening skill. And those clothes above the desk, that is my semblance of a wardrobe. I do take those out later because I realize it just looks like a lot, and I don't know if it's realistic to have clothes above your desk. I don't have clothes above my desk because I have a closet. And since this is a base game, there are no closets. And also because it's The Sims. They don't need it. Let's be real. Yeah, I'm just finishing up their desk. Trying to see what I can add. And I remember to add flooring. I was about to finish the room and add flooring. Because of the wall that I changed to, that brown wall, I do end up changing the color of the floor to a lighter wood. And I think compared to the outside, it's a good contrast. It brightens up the whole build really on the inside. Oh, okay, I guess with the shelving, you could say it's not as sparsely decorated, but the kids' rooms I do end up putting a lot more effort into, and that is because I don't like playing as a parent, I won't lie. Yeah. This bathroom, I'm working on, it is not the master bathroom. It's just an open bathroom. Open in the sense that it's not only for the parents. I mean, I don't think there's anything exciting here. It's just a bathroom. I do believe this is the first time I'm using that wall tile. I think it's like a swatch of the, well, the default swatch is like a black tile. Yeah, I finished up the bathroom and now I'm moving on to the teens room. So for this room, I knew I wanted to use that striped rug. I really like the blue swatch on that rug. I think the colors are amazing. But although not recent, I did build a previous teen room with that blue swatch, and I decided to change it up and go for pink. Pink isn't usually a color I gravitate to in real life, but I think in other ways it is a very nice, soothing color to look at. So this teen I imagine to be very skilled in guitars. Over the years since they started playing, they've actually gathered a guitar collection. So I have like, I think the guitar on the very left is like a 15,000 simoleon guitar. I'd say that's their most recent guitar considering how expensive it is. Maybe they're able to do gigs at like a part-time job or something. And I have a Freezer Bunny guitar and a regular guitar. I do think the Freezer Bunny guitar is something they indulged in just for the giggles, because I feel like that's probably just for display only. I do end up including some black into this room because of the Freezer Bunny guitar. And I think it's nice compared to maybe like a typical pastel pink and white color scheme like the bed is here. And I think it just gives a little more interest to this room. So these lights, if you don't recognize it, that is because it is actually not base game. It is from the holiday celebration pack, and that is free content, which means you don't need to pay, you don't need to give your money to anything. You just download it off the wherever you buy the Sims, or wherever you get the Sims, because the Sims is actually free, and the holiday celebration pack is too. Definitely get it. It adds some really cute items. I mean, it's like more holiday themed items, but some of it can still be used in non-holiday themed builds like this one. So I finished the teens room and now I'm moving on to the bathroom. So because of the window placement and the door, I wasn't sure how I wanted the layout to be. So I just opt for the shower and that tile and the sink and the toilet next to each other. I mean, I think it's better than having the toilet in front of the window. First of all, unrealistic. Where are the pipes? And two, privacy. Not that either of those concerns are actually valid concerns when it comes to The Sims, but for me personally, I think this just looks a little more interesting. I do add some minimal clutter, like a shelving unit, and right there you just saw me lift up the teens room to the same level as the rest of the house. Previously it was like one tick below, so there was like a platform liner, like black little lining, and me raising the platform just eliminates that. And now I've moved on to the children's room, not child's, because there are two, children's room. So as you can see, those little hanging decorations above one of the beds, that also comes from the holiday celebration pack. I do believe this is the first time I'm using it. Usually the holiday celebration pack is used for like their little miscellaneous lighting, like the candles and those wall lights. And I don't know, I thought it was really cute and a nice touch to have over over this child side of the room, which I will say is quite small compared to the other child. But you know, I think they have a cooler side of the room. Right now I'm just messing with the furniture, trying to see what kind of color scheme I want. I didn't know if I wanted the whole room to be blue and black, so I have this this bed in a brown and green swatch. I mean, despite the color differences, I do think the room turned out pretty nicely. With the wall that they share and the walls that they don't share, I do color differently. Right now I'm just going through decorations, seeing what I can add to make the room seem more lived in. So there are backpacks, a train set, another first for me. I don't think I've ever used the train set. a lunchbox. There's like a little experimenting table closer to the windows on the right side of the room. For the twins, well, I assume them to be twins, but for the twins that live here, I think one of them is into science, and maybe like space, considering the decorations they have. They're like a lot more sciencey. And the other sim that is in this room probably into trains, considering the train set above their bed, and likely more active than their sibling. I do place a monkey bars in their backyard. Mainly for two of them, but I guess one sim likes them more than the other. And they also have a fish pet. Yes, a fish pet. That's a weird way to say it. Anyways, I've colored the walls and I've added rugs. I wasn't sure if I was gonna add 2 rugs, but I think it looks a lot better and does well to separate the sides of the room. Just doing some finishing touches. Blarfy, the bear, and now we've moved on to the backyard. So right now I'm scrolling through debug just to get the debug trash bin. For realism purposes, based on my experience, I have 2 bins, one for trash and one for recycling, and I think the trash is blue and the black is recycling, if I remember correctly. So I have a black and blue bin out in their backyard. And now I've added a pool. I usually add pools just to fill up space. And these turtle decals, I don't usually use these in my pools. It's a habit of mine to put minimal effort into pools. I don't really know what I could add besides different tile, different flooring, and some lights, which I just remembered that I didn't include in the pool. I will have to make note of that. Add lights to pool. Yep, consider added. There are the monkey bars that I mentioned earlier, and the gardening gardening pots for the parents. And I add a grill because I think they like to entertain in the outdoors. You know, I do think the family likes to be outdoors. Oh, I probably should have added a telescope. Okay, I will have to add some things before I upload this build onto the gallery. As we're nearing the end of the video, I would just like to say thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. I really do. And if you want this house, it is available on the gallery under my ID, caitom, and like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you think, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye!